You want to know what the biggest mistake is people make with money? And this is by far the biggest reason people can't get ahead. Also, how much you need to invest for retirement depends on what your monthly bills are going to be when you're retired. I'm going to help you figure out your goal number and ways to achieve that. Remember, all investing carries risk, so do your own research. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Okay, so the goal is to have money automatically coming in every month to pay your bills when you're retired. And one of the most common ways of doing that is being paid automatically with dividends every month. There are two kinds of stocks: growth stocks and dividend stocks. So don't go running out there and just start buying stocks until you understand what the difference is. And I'll put it simply so most people can understand it. Let's say you have a cow and you feed it. It grows bigger. You keep feeding it, and over time it grows bigger and bigger until one day, and sorry, I don't eat meat, so I don't really like this part, but people understand it. You kill the cow and chop it up into bits, and you can live off the meat from that cow for 1 to 2 years, and that's pretty impressive. But then you don't have a cow anymore, and you are eventually out of food. Now, let's say you had some chickens instead. They're small, they don't eat much, and they live up to 10 years if they're healthy. If you don't kill them, they keep making you eggs every day, indefinitely. And if you get a rooster and let some of those eggs turn into chicks that grow up and also lay eggs, then you have an endless food supply. So instead of killing the cow, it would have been smarter to raise it until it's really big and then sell it and then use the money to buy a bunch of chickens. And you can get a lot of chickens for the price of one cow. What you want for retirement is not a cow, but a bunch of chickens that keep giving you golden eggs for the rest of your life. Growth stocks are the ones you keep hearing about: Apple, Nvidia, Palantir, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, Berkshire Hathaway, stuff like that. Those are the cows. They get big and fat, and you can sell them for a lot of money. $50,000 of those could possibly grow into $200,000, but then when you sell it, it's gone. Dividend stocks, on the other hand, they don't really grow. Those are your chickens. They're probably still worth $50,000 after 10 years of buying at the same price that you bought them for, but they pay you a monthly check for the rest of your life. So what most people do is they buy a cow, they feed it a lot of food until it gets really big and fat, and then they sell it to buy a bunch of chickens. And the bigger the cow is, the more chickens you buy, and the bigger your free monthly income is. The more food you have and checks and money and all that. So step one is to figure out how much you realistically need to pay your bills when you retire. Then figure out where you think the money's going to be coming from. Will you be getting Social Security? Will you still have a business with some money coming in? Add up all the income sources and see how much you still need. For example, if you think you still need around $50,000 a year, which is a little over $4,000 a month, then you'll need about $1 million of dividend stocks depending on the yield percentage. If you want $100,000 a year, which is around $8,000 a month deposited in your account, you'll need around $2 million in your account. Now, I know what you're saying. How the hell am I going to get that? Well, this is where you make compounding work for you. How old you are depends on how aggressive you need to be. If you're in your 20s or 30s, it's really easy. If you're in your 50s, it might require some more serious life decisions like downsizing your house and your car and your lifestyle a bit, at least temporarily. The problem with most people is they live at the very limit of what they can afford. Every time they make a little more money, they upgrade their lifestyle, they get a bigger house, a bigger car, and fancier things because they feel they've earned it. And I get that. But that kind of thinking keeps you a prisoner of the present moment at the cost of forfeiting your very future. I wish I would have learned this 30 years ago when I was in my 30s, and I don't want you to make the same mistake that almost everyone else makes and then regrets. You don't want to live your retirement years in anxiety and stress and uncertainty. That's where you should be enjoying life. People in their 30s and 40s think, oh, that's so far away, right? It's not something to worry about yet. Well, they couldn't be more wrong. You know how you wait for a vacation and it seems to take forever to get that time to go on vacation? But then one day, there you are in vacation, and in the blink of an eye, it's over. Well, that's your life. Retirement age may be on the other side of the world right now, but it's flying at 1,000 miles an hour right now, and it will hit you in the face before you're even aware what hit you. If you don't start preparing right now, mark my words, you'll remember what I'm saying here and wish you would have listened and taken it seriously. So how do you get that 1 or 2 million? The way most people do it is they have their own business or two, and they grab as much money as they can from that business, and they put it into investments, most of which, like I said, average about 10%, meaning whatever you have in that account will double every 7 years, and the more money you put in there, the faster it doubles. If you put like $190 in every week, you would have $1 million in about 24 years. That's something most people can find a way to do. Now, you know what's funny? People spend $90,000 on a fancy SUV or a big manly pickup truck with the big wheels and the jacked up and manly looking. $90,000 for those things. But they have no investments. If they had put that same $90,000 into an investment account, they'd have $1 million in 24 years. Oh, and let's talk about that $90,000 vehicle. They didn't pay $90,000 for it. Most people finance their cars and homes because they say they don't have enough money to buy it cash. They bought something they don't have enough cash for. All right. Remember this. After they paid off that $90,000 car financing, they actually end up paying double that, which is $180,000. The bank is the one that made money off your car. And on top of that, you had to pay premium insurance, ridiculous repair costs, and lots of gas-guzzling fuel. So after everything is said and done, that $90,000 vehicle actually cost you $250,000. You could have made that $1 million for your retirement in 14 years with that money. It's 2026 right now. That means instead of buying that four-wheel money pit, you could have put that money into an investment account in 2012. You'd have that $1 million right now. Instead, you have a rusty, worn-out vehicle with repair bills and an empty wallet. Same goes for your house. If the house is worth $1 million, by the time you're done paying for it, you will have paid off $2 million. That extra million was your retirement fund. Somehow, normal people are finding a way to pay their expensive mortgage, not realizing because they have a mortgage and are financing their car and who knows what else, they could have made some smarter decisions a few years back and already have had their retirement covered. If you can't pay off your house or your car in a few years after buying it, don't get it. Get something cheaper, live below your means, and put the money into an investment account, and then live like kings down the road. If you have an income, but you feel like you're just treading water and not getting anywhere, then chances are you finance something. You're making payments on a credit card, a car, a house, or a big screen TV, or medical stuff, or home improvements, or whatever. If you finance, compounding is working against you and keeping you in a hole. The first house that I got here when I was in Vegas was $189,000. After 10 years of paying my mortgage, which should have paid off the house, I paid $189,000 in those 10 years. Guess how much I still owed? After 10 years, $189,000. After 10 years, I still owe the same amount that I bought the house for. At least I thought I bought the house. No, I didn't. The bank owned it, and I was paying rent. If you can't pay off a car in 2 years or a house in 4 or 5 years, then you are essentially throwing away your retirement money. If you had temporarily gotten a beater car or a cheaper place to live, save that money and put it into an investment account instead, you would have compounding working for you instead of against you. And after 10 years, you wouldn't be broke and going nowhere. You'd have $500,000 in your account. Now, some of you are saying, but I don't even have a house or a car. Well, I explained what to do in the first 2 videos. I highly suggest you watch those, especially the first one about laying the foundation. I'll put a link down below. It doesn't matter how little you have. You can get there just like anyone else. You just have to clean up your act and get serious with your life decisions. For everyone who says they don't have money, I also suggest you watch this video, especially if you like beer. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, so the biggest mistake is most people live at the very limit of what they can afford. Look how many people lost their homes in 2008. Okay, so whatever your retirement goal is, if it's $4,000 a month or $8,000 a month or whatever, that determines how much you need to save in your investment account. $1 million will pay you $4,000 a month indefinitely. $2 million will give you $8,000 a month, but that's $100,000 a year indefinitely for the rest of your life. And the sooner you start, the better off you'll be. I am not an investment advisor, and anything could happen at any time and nothing is guaranteed. But people have been doing this for the last century. And yes, there have been crashes and depressions and recessions and stuff. But the market always bounces back up eventually. Even if you lost half, the sooner you get going, the more you have in your favor, and the longer you have, the more time you can allow for recovery and eventual massive growth. A lot of people lost their homes and a lot of stock value in 2008, but those who didn't sell their stocks are making out like kings now. Patience is everything. The sooner you start and the more diversified you are, the better, meaning the more streams of income you have, the safer you are. Don't give up your job just because your stocks are doing good. Anything could change at any time. And I don't mean a stock crash. What if it was the other way around? What if you went out of business or you got injured and you couldn't work anymore? You need another source of income. The more irons you have in the fire, the better. Okay, a few words about growth stocks. That's the cow that you're fattening. Do not just invest in what's hot right now. Tech and AI is big, but the tech bubble could burst. You never know. Smart people don't invest more than a third of their portfolio and stuff like that. They also invest at least a third into safer, more boring stocks like consumer staples. Those are companies that do well in recessions, like those that make toothpaste and toilet paper, because people still need to buy that stuff during hard times. And even though they sound tempting, don't go get a bunch of dividend stocks right now. I know that monthly check sounds really delicious, but just know that amount will never grow once you get it. Wouldn't you want another 5 or 10,000 more every month? Well, then you need another million or two in that account. And the only way you're going to get that is with growth stocks, or you do better in business, or both. For most people, it's a combination of both. However you're making money right now, invest as much of it as you possibly can and keep doing it every month. Downgrade your car, one less vacation every year, stop drinking alcohol. I'm not kidding. The money you save can speed up your retirement checks. All right, some quick numbers, for example. If you invested in broad market funds that pay 4%, you would need 1.25 million. If you invested 5% in high dividend ETFs like SPYD or a balanced dividend growth portfolio, then you need only $1 million saved up in your account. And if you got 6.5% REITs or covered call ETFs, you'd only need 770,000 saved up. So in other words, the higher the percentage of the payoff of the stuff you have, the less money you need in your account. But always keep in mind, the higher the yield is, the riskier it is, and whatever money you make will also be taxable. So keep that in mind. It's wise to always have some kind of emergency cash stashed away somewhere, even if it's in a high yield savings account or government-backed T-bills or something like that. Again, I'm not telling you what to go do. I'm just explaining the basics of investing and what a lot of people are doing. It's good to know your options because a lot of people have no clue where to start and what's possible. I wish I had known this 40 years ago. I would have done some things differently. At the very least, I would have taken investing much more seriously, because if I did, I would have been able to help my parents much sooner when they really needed it, and that bothers me. Plus some other things that would have made life a lot easier. Stress is by far the biggest killer, and the less of that we can have in our lives, the better. We never stop having challenges in life, but it's nice to have more resources readily available to be able to take them on when they happen. I'm giving you this information free because I want less stress in the world, and the happier the people are, the better the world will be overall. I have 2 books, The Prosperity Secret and a little pocketbook, Instructions for a New Life, that can help you see life a little differently and open your heart to more possibilities. In the next video, we're going to talk about what to do if you're already in your 60s and think you don't have any time left to invest. I want you to know what it's like to be free, to live the life that you deserve.